Am I the a-hole for returning the shoes I got for my husband after he accused me of stealing from him? My 29 husband, 36, is the breadwinner of the family. I stay home with the kids who are preschool age. He pays for the mortgage, bills, household needs, food, kids' needs, etc. He has set a monthly budget for each category and handles getting everything done. Recently, he has become overwhelmed and told me to handle grocery shopping, but before he let me, he asked me to write a list of all the stuff we need so he could calculate the total and also so he'd have an idea how much I'll be spending when I take his credit card. I didn't have an issue with that because this way we'd watch our spending habits. However, he said I'm never allowed to get something that isn't on the list unless I'm paying for it some other way. On Friday I was doing some grocery shopping as usual and saw that the store had some nice shoes on sale. The price was insanely low for this brand, and so I decided to grab a pair for my husband thinking he'd be happy with them since he needed new sneakers anyway. I bought them, and when I showed them to him he flipped out on me saying I made a huge mistake by buying something that was not on the list. I agreed with him, but I thought that since the shoes were for him then it'd be different. He said I screwed up and shouldn't have bought those sneakers without even telling him. But in my defense I said that the price was low, so it's not like I spent $100 on shoes, and also I saw this as a great deal and wanted him to have those nice sneakers. He plainly said that what I did is considered stealing since he never consented to have those sneakers purchased and said that I'm being irresponsible with money. That is why I no longer have an income and my spending habits need a grip. I felt hurt by what he said. We argued about it for hours and he avoided speaking to me the rest of the day. The next day I went and returned the sneakers and took the money back. He got home in the evening and lost it when he found out I returned them. He said he couldn't believe how petty and childish I was to actually do this. I explained I was just correcting my mistake. He tried to contact the store and was told the sneakers were already sold. He got even angrier with me, but I told him that he accused me of stealing for him when I was just trying to do a nice gesture for him. He yelled that I had a lot of nerve calling what I did nice gesture while using his money to do it. I told him he had no right to yell at me after I corrected my mistake and gave back the money he accused me of stealing. He threw a fit, then went out with his friends and came home late at night still not talking to me. Did I mess up? Maybe I shouldn't have purchased them knowing they weren't on the list, but I just wanted him to have those sneakers and thought I was doing a nice gesture. Not the a-hole. With that said, something else to add. Get the hell out of there. I lost count how many red flags there were in the short story. Just to recap. You have zero knowledge of and input into your family's financial situation by design. You have to get pre-approval for an action as mundane as grocery shopping. Acting even slightly independently was met with extreme anger and accusations. When you tried to defend yourself, you were darvoed and berated. Again, acting independently, even to correct a mistake, was met with an equal amount of anger. The entire ordeal you were kept emotionally unstable and purposely left that way with no resolution possible. My God, it's like LeBron and Serena hooked up and had a super baby, and the sport they played was abuse ball. This is not an exaggeration. You are being abused. Someone better than me will hopefully reply with an outline of a plan and resources. Please consider yourself and your kids up. Everyone sucks here. I know most people are saying not the a-hole, but I do think what you did is also wrong. The guy gave you clear instructions to not deviate from the list and you did the opposite, so I understand why he got mad. Also, you're posing this as a nice gesture, but it's not really a gesture when he essentially bought the shoes for himself. You used his money to get him a gift, so I don't really think that's a defense for what you did. However, I think your husband flew completely over the line, especially when he got mad that you decided to amend your mistake and return them. Like, did he just change the rules because he liked the shoes or something? Both of you are in the wrong. Am I the a-hole for being whipped for my wife enough to get a trip replaced? I, 28 male, have 5 kids with my wife, 32 female. Please don't come after us with how many kids we have. I work roughly 50 hours a week, 10-hour days MF, and my wife is a stay-at-home mom. She does the majority of everything, cleaning, cooking, everything minus the shopping, which my wife orders online and I pick up at the store. So here's the am I the a-hole scenario. My work schedules a work bonding fishing trip from Friday night to Sunday over the summer. I said no way I'm going, for the following reasons, despite my wife telling me to go and have fun. First of all, every Saturday I schedule my wife for some type of treat yourself appointment and send her on a mini shopping spree / kiddo free morning to do what she wants with one rule: no kid shopping. It's about her and her only. Second, I'm not leaving my wife for 2 nights and a day for fishing and getting drunk. If I want to go fishing, I'll take the 5-year-old twins with me to give my wife less to juggle and create some memories. Third, the ladies that work at the office feel excluded because they don't like the fishing trip because they feel excluded. Fourth, they call it a stag weekend, despite no one getting married, and I don't trust that phrasing, especially since they are going fishing near a very popular college-age vacation spot known for bars and wasted weekend shenanigans. So my coworkers have been calling me whip since I said no, and saying it'll give them a chance to know me better since I don't go out with them on Wednesdays when they go to the bar, and I've always missed the trip. All my coworkers all have wives, kids or significant others, so I recommended we do a family campout during the planning meeting. Would cost the same amount, and do those blow up things on the lake, boating if you have one, skis extension, and do a cookout kind of deal with family activities with my work renting small cabins for families to use. My regional manager who was at the meeting loved it even more than the fishing trip, gave me a yearly bonus to plan this family event every year instead of my coworker who gets one to plan the fishing trip. Now my coworkers are calling me whipped and more BS names and are mad because their wives are happy about my idea. Their wives have even emailed me about a mom Saturday morning idea like my wife has, and I added it into the plan, and are mad their stag weekend is cancelled and quote spend a work paid trip babysitting. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for getting a work trip cancelled and replaced with a family friendly event? It's not babysitting if it's your own children. You're being considerate to your wife and it sounds like you're a good husband. You're not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I don't think you would be too impressed if you got to know your coworkers better. It sounds like they all have some growing up to do, and I wouldn't trust the stag term either. I work at a company that used to participate in a fishing trip also that was always men only. Thankfully new management likes their family time and the trips don't exist anymore. Unpopular opinion. You're the a-hole. They want to kick back and relax away from their families once a year. You could have literally just told them, it's not my thing really guys, and left it at that. They want you to hang out, to have fun with them, and you're refusing. Now, you've not only taken it from them but you changed the plan entirely. Got their wives in your corner. Yeah, it'd be mad at you too if the one thing the company paid for us to do was changed to where I couldn't get away from the stress of everything in my life and get drunk because you were too afraid to leave your wife alone for 2 days, once a year. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my nonverbal autistic sister my MP3 player in the car to prevent a meltdown? We were in the car about an hour away from home on the way back. I, 15 female, and my nonverbal severely autistic sister, 13 female, each have our own MP3 players that we listen to with headphones during car rides. She always needs her replaced because she plays hers to death, drops them, gets dirty food hands all over them, spills drinks, accidentally, on it etc. Well, during the car ride hers broke, and she will have a meltdown, sometimes gets aggressive. If she doesn't have it, my parents started ordering me to give her mine. I didn't want to because my boyfriend, 17 male, got this for me for Valentine's Day and I knew she'd, albeit accidentally, destroy it, and it meant a lot to me because it's from him. Plus our initials were laser engraved on it. His initials, heart, my initials. Sister was getting antsy on the verge of a meltdown and my dad started clenching his teeth at me saying, I don't care if Jesus Christ gave you the MP3 player, I will get you a new one later. You will give it to your sister or else. I told him it's not my fault, he should have backup MP3s in the cars at all times for her, and it's not my fault he didn't think to do that, and my mother also clenched her teeth and said shut up and hand it over. We hit a red light so I opened the door and left. I run track so I was able to run fast. I called my boyfriend to come and pick me up. My parents are ringing my phone off the hook, but I texted them telling them where I was, but I'm not coming home until they calm down, and it's their job to be more prepared for my sister. They got into a minor accident on the way home after I got out due to severe meltdown and are saying it's my fault. I wasn't even in the car. If that's not scapegoating, I don't know what is. They rear-ended another car, no one got hurt, but dealing with a meltdown at scene of accident made them even more upset with me. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. That MP3 player is special to you. It's not your job to hand over your personal belongings just to placate your sister. Your parents know she breaks MP3s easily and they have the responsibility of being prepared for when that happens. You are not a source of calming parts and items for your sister. You are allowed to own your own items and want to keep them nice. Your parents need to understand this or they will lose you as they continue to try and force you to give up your property for her. Everyone sucks here. You're right, it's not your job to care for your sister or be prepared for her. But as a sister of a mentally disabled person myself, I would do what I could to relieve my mom and help my sister. Yes, the MP3 player has sentimental value. But your sister has more value. Your parents suck, you suck. Only one who doesn't suck is your sister. Maybe when you grow up you'll realize your sister is more important than physical items. I'll get downvoted for this but I don't care. Too many people on Reddit behave like family isn't something you should give a shit for. When they're abusive then I agree. When they're not and need some help, I disagree heavily. Am I the a-hole for refusing to work from home, so now people can no longer bring their dogs to the office? Hi, I'm a 32 female. Here it goes. Everyone working in the office, dogs were never even an option. Pandemic, shut down, working from home. People trickle back in, and they are allowed to bring their dogs to ease the transition. My group stays back for another year. Everyone's finally called back to the office. I'm allergic to dogs, and the smell gives me migraines. Huge bummer, because I do like dogs, but it explains why in one foster home I was always feeling sick. Boss says we'll figure something out. People with their own offices are not willing to give them up. Boss tells me that maybe it's best if I work from home. I live in a tiny studio that barely fits my bed, and I have to sit on it or on my floor to have a workspace. I have one window. It's suffocating and I was starting to go crazy living there during the pandemic and WFH. So, I say that if I can negotiate a raise that will be enough to help me to move to a larger place, I will consider WFH. Boss takes that to their boss, comes back and says unfortunately it's not in the budget. I say I'm not going back to WFH. Boss insists it couldn't be as bad as I'm saying and that everyone had to make adjustments. Mind you, boss and most of my other coworkers live in houses that they own. Most have huge backyards, entire rooms to dedicate as an office, etc. So of course they don't think it's a big deal. I stand firm, and remind them that someone can give me an office, but no one would. So unfortunately, everyone has to stop bringing the dogs to the office. Coworkers and other people in the building are saying I'm selfish for not just taking the deal and going back to WFH because they'd all love to be allowed to. When I've told people about the tiny apartment and how I can't afford more, they say things like just move back in with your parents, just stop buying Starbucks and start doing Uber Eats after work and move to X suburb, even as though I'm choosing to be in this position just to spite them. Others have been like, why can't you just take a Claritin and tell me making up the smell causing migraines? Each of them has a suggestion about how I should go out of my way to make all these changes, some of which I can't even do, just because people want to bring their dogs to an office. Am I really the asshole for this? Not the a-hole. But I'd start looking for a better job. People are assholes in an office and they won't get over this. Your environment there is only going to get worse. No a-holes here. Our company is dog friendly and we're in a high stress industry. I can't even describe how much having a pup around helps our morale. I totally get where you're coming from. And I don't blame you. But I get why your coworkers are annoyed. You're the a-hole so the whole office has to accommodate one person? Maybe so, but now you're probably hated by everyone and they will make your life miserable. Just work from home. Not the a-hole. I hate working from home. Home is home and work is work. This is their problem, not yours. Am I the a-hole for refusing to eat the food my mother cooked? My, female 33, parents moved in with me a week ago as they have sold their house, to have extra cash in their hands. I lived with my grandparents since my young, so it was nice that I get to live with my parents again, so I gladly opened up my home to them. The thing is that my mother loves to cook food, and as for me, certain food items make me gag due to a childhood trauma and I have not been able to recover from it. My body automatically rejects it and I will vomit it out. Been to therapy and it just doesn't work. Now that my mother is living with me, she wants to cook for me, to which I was a bit hesitant and told her it's okay, I can cook for all of us. But she insisted that she will cook, so I just gave in to her and she is aware of why I have trauma of certain food items and what they are. She just shrugged and just said to tell her what I wanted to eat for the day and she will cook it for me. TBH, I was a little relieved too, as it would have taken the cooking burden off me. I gave her some money to buy the ingredients. It was going fine till the fourth day, where I came back really tired from work and was looking forward to a good meal at home, only to find one of the food item of my trauma waiting in the kitchen. I asked her if she had cooked anything else for me. She told me to stop being picky, grow up and just eat the food. I looked at her in shock and couldn't believe that she would want me to eat the food item of my trauma, which she caused when I was younger. I just walked away to my room and cried myself to sleep. Next morning, she looked at me all hurt and said it's just a small trauma, I should get over it since it happened so long ago and stop being a little bitch. I kept quiet and went off to work, and for the past few days she has been ignoring me. Can you guys please tell me if I was the asshole here? Not the a-hole, and throw her ungrateful ass out of your house. She took your money and used your kitchen to make something you expressly told her not to, and then she gaslit your perfectly reasonable response. Your mother is an abuser and you owe her nothing. Not the a-hole, but why didn't you simply cook something else for yourself to eat? If you are adult at 33, you are capable of saying no, not eating that. You're the a-hole to yourself. It's your house, your rules, your money. Learn to stand up for yourself in your own home or continue to cry yourself to sleep. You're the a-hole as a child. You were a picky eater then, but you're an adult now and need to get over your dislike of that food. Nurturing it would make your palate and food choices much narrower as time goes by. Am I the a-hole for refusing to sell my car and embarrassing my boyfriend in front of his dad? Am I the a-hole? So before I was with my boyfriend, I was with my ex. He was very wealthy, and despite the relationship not working out, he did give me a lot of gifts throughout it, and he bought me a car for our 4th anniversary paid off in my name. We broke up right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I met my current boyfriend 10 months ago, and we've been official for 3 months now. I'm not one to speak about exes, and he never asked any questions, so I never told him how I got my car. He did compliment it, but that's about it. My boyfriend's father is a mechanic and yesterday I was over at my boyfriend's apartment. His dad had to drop something off and he commented about my car saying it was the best in the parking lot and he liked the color and rims not knowing it's mine. We laughed about it and his dad was asking me a ton of questions about it and how much I pay a month and I told him it's paid off and a gift. My boyfriend was surprised and said he assumed I was paying it off and asked by who and I said my ex. He got quiet and it was really awkward for a bit where no one said anything. His dad broke the ice saying it's a great gift since I don't have to worry about paying it off and the conversation continued with him wanting to drive it around the parking lot and see inside, which I let him. When he left, my boyfriend started going off on me saying he can't believe I never said anything and that I just embarrassed him in front of his dad. I said how and he said he can't believe me and that I need to sell it since it doesn't fit my lifestyle anyway and that he thought it was a dumb decision I made, not that it was a romantic gift. I said that it's not romantic and that to my ex it meant nothing and he got even more mad. His dad came back and gave me my keys and left and then my boyfriend asked me to leave too even though we had plans to go out. He's been distant since. Did I really embarrass him and am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole and emo that's a red flag from your current BF. Telling you that you need to sell it, bruh. Not the a-hole, your boyfriend is incredibly insecure and this is a huge red flag. Am I the a-hole for threatening to change my daughter's middle name? I, 26 female, have known my husband, 26 male, since we were little kids. He's not only the love of my life but my best friend. We have so many great memories together. 4 years ago his sister passed away from a car accident, so of course it was a very hard thing for him, his family, and myself to go through. I don't have a sister but she was one of the closest things I had to a sister even before my husband and I were married. Fast forward, I'm now 35 weeks pregnant with a little girl. When we found out we were having a girl, I asked my husband if he wanted to use his sister's name as a first name for our daughter. I like her name and think it's beautiful but I wanted him to decide since it is his sister. He thought it would be too difficult to use that as a first name but he wouldn't mind it as a middle name for our daughter. So about a month ago we told his family we would like to use her name as a middle name and that we have 2 nature-themed names we really like but we're waiting to see what she looks like to decide the final discussion. Of course his family was excited but his parents started referring to the baby as their daughter's name and we keep trying to tell them well that's going to be her middle name and they keep saying they know even though they keep calling her that. I can tell it's making my husband upset and yesterday they brought over a blanket with that name on it. My husband ended up walking out to go outside and clear his head for a little bit. So I told them that their son doesn't want it to be her first name and it's probably hard on him to hear you call our unborn daughter that. And that you need to respect that she's still going to be a part of our daughter but not to refer to her as that or we might have to change her middle name completely. I later got calls from my husband, other family calling me a-hole and calling my husband sensitive and that my in-laws are just excited to honor their daughter and we need to just accept it. So am I the a-hole? So not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You are trying to honor her memory, not give them a replacement child. You're not making another Ashley, you're trying to honor her. Them referring to your baby as Ashley's name is creepy. I'm sorry, but your husband is going to have to be the one to deal with his family, since they're clearly not listening to a single word you say. No a-holes here, everyone is still grieving in their own ways, they need help. There isn't an asshole in this scenario. Your in-laws had to bury their child. As a mother now I bet you can imagine how devastating that must be and they need some grace and your hubby needs that grace too. There is a lot of trauma baked in here. I would be super careful moving forward.